Welcome back, dreamers and doers. We've walked the path of desire, and we've whispered truths to our subconscious minds. But today, we stand on a new threshold. A simple question looms before us. What do you know that will lead you forward?
Or, more importantly, what kind of knowledge do you still need? Because not all knowledge is equal. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill makes it clear, it's not the vastness of your intellect that counts. It's the sharpness of your aim. This is the power of specialized knowledge.
Hill's wisdom strikes at the heart of why so many brilliant minds falter. General knowledge is like a flood. It's everywhere, but it lacks focus. Specialized knowledge, that's the narrow, powerful stream carving through stone, shaping the landscape.
Henry Ford understood this better than most. A man criticized for his lack of formal education, Ford knew he didn't need to know everything. He surrounded himself with specialists, engineers, designers, and innovators. He didn't memorize facts. He built systems that turned expertise into action. That's the lesson Hill delivers with force. You don't have to know it all. You have to know how to use what you know, or how to find the people who do.
But let's step into a more personal frame. Imagine yourself on the verge of a great leap, equipped with a reservoir of general ideas. The leap feels impossible, doesn't it? That's the gap specialized knowledge fills. It's the bridge from potential to power.
Hill tells the story of a young man who dreamt of working in advertising. He had enthusiasm, drive, and ambition, but no expertise. No one took him seriously until he committed to learning everything about advertising. Classes, mentorship, sleepless nights dissecting campaigns. When he finally walked into that agency again, he wasn't just another hopeful. He was a weaponized force of specialized knowledge. They didn't just hire him, they needed him.
Do you see the pattern? It's not about waiting for the world to recognize your potential. It's about arming yourself with something so sharp, so uniquely yours, that the world can't ignore it.
But specialized knowledge is not static. It evolves like a living thing. It demands nourishment, new ideas, fresh perspectives, relentless curiosity. Picture a real estate developer surveying the market. He doesn't act on instinct alone. His decisions are informed by a deep understanding of trends, patterns, and untapped opportunities. He doesn't guess, he calculates. And it's that calculated risk, born of specialized knowledge, that turns vision into reality.
Yet Hill warns us that knowledge itself is inert without application. Knowing what to do is not enough. You must do it. And not just once, but over and over, until it becomes a part of who you are. That's the unspoken pact between knowledge and success. One feeds the other, but neither thrives in isolation.
So, what's your field of mastery? What lights your fire? Because that's where this journey begins, not with answers, but with questions. What do you want to learn? What are you willing to give up for it? What will you create when you know enough to start?
Hill doesn't hand us easy steps. He challenges us to dig deeper, to transform ourselves from students into practitioners. Because specialized knowledge is not a prize, it's a tool. And tools must be used.
So find the books, seek out the mentors, dismantle your assumptions, and rebuild them with precision. Knowledge is out there, waiting for you, but it will not come to you. You must go to it.
Let it shape you. Let it test you. Let it be the reason you rise while others rest. And when it feels like you've mastered it, push further. The road to success doesn't end with knowing. It begins there. Because this is the truth Hill lays bare. Specialized knowledge is not the end of your journey. It's the weapon you wield as you fight for the life you deserve. In our last journey, we unraveled the potency of specialized knowledge, the bricks and mortar of success. But now we venture into a far more ethereal territory. Beyond knowledge lies the alchemy of transformation, the power to craft the intangible into the tangible. This is the domain of creative vision.
Vision. The word stirs ideas of dreams, creativity, and fleeting whispers of brilliance. But to Napoleon Hill, this wasn't some fleeting news. It was the workshop of the mind, where the future takes shape. Here, every great triumph of humanity was born, not in reality, but in the boundless world of thought.
There are two forces at work within the creative mind, two distinct approaches. First, there's the diligent craftsman. It takes the threads of existing ideas, knowledge, and experiences and weaves them into something new. It doesn't invent, it reimagines. It takes the raw material of life and transforms it into tools, plans, and solutions.
Think of Thomas Edison in his lab, his fingers stained with soot, his mind aflame with ideas. He didn't discover electricity, nor did he invent the basic principles of mechanics. But through this process, he brought them together, conjuring the electric light bulb, a marvel from the mundane. He pieced together the puzzle others had left unfinished. And then there's the poet, the dreamer, the visionary. This kind of mental prowess leaps into the void of what could be. It draws from the unseen, the unproven, and the impossible. It's inspiration, intuition, and a touch of madness rolled into one.
Consider Guglielmo Marconi. In his time, wireless communication was science fiction, a fantasy whispered among hopeful minds. But Marconi saw it, clear as day, long before anyone else. He reached into the unknown, pulled the concept of radio from thin air, and changed the world forever. This kind of thinking isn't bound by rules. It invents them. But this ability isn't loud. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It whispers in quiet moments, nudging you toward possibilities you hadn't considered. It's the flicker of an idea when you least expect it, the persistent tug at the edge of your consciousness.
And yet, many let it wither. They ignore it, drowned by the noise of daily life. They dismiss their ideas as impractical and their visions as unattainable. But what if Edison had ignored his spark? What if Marconi had silenced his dream? The world would be darker, quieter, and a poorer place for their restraint. It's easy to see creativity in inventors and artists, but what about the grocer down the street? Hill tells of a man with a small-town grocery store, surrounded by competition and limited by resources. He could have stayed small, sold his wares, and survived. But instead, he envisioned more. He expanded his offerings, introduced a delivery service, and even offered credit to trusted customers. He didn't see himself as a shopkeeper. He saw himself as a community builder. That vision transformed his business into a cornerstone of his town.
This isn't a grand tale of invention or revolution. It's a simple story of someone willing to see beyond their circumstances, to use their mind not as a luxury, but as a necessity. The grocer didn't dream of radios or light bulbs. He dreamed of possibilities right where he stood. This ability to see beyond the present is like a muscle, and like any muscle, it must be used to grow stronger. But we've been taught to dismiss it. We're told to be practical, to color within the lines, to focus on what's real. And so, the muscle atrophies. It shrinks into nothingness, leaving behind only the barest trace of what could have been.
But for those willing to exercise it, this creative force becomes the most powerful tool of all. It sees opportunities where others see obstacles. It finds solutions where others find problems. It dreams beyond the limits of the present into the boundless potential of the future.
Every invention, every success, every moment of progress began as a single idea. Not a reality, not a fact, just a whisper in the workshop of someone's mind. Hill reminds us that this workshop is always open, its doors unlocked, its tools ready. The question is whether you'll step inside.
This creative force isn't a gift for the lucky few. It's a power within all of us, waiting to be tapped, waiting to be trusted. It demands patience, courage, and the willingness to dream. But for those who dare, it offers the world.
And so, As we leave this chapter, remember this: your mind is the most fertile ground you'll ever tend. What will you plant? What will you create? What will you dare to envision?
The workshop is yours. The future is waiting. Build it.
In our last session, we explored the boundless power of the mind to dream and create. But dreams alone are not enough. This is the bridge where so many falter. The transformation of desire into reality, of vision into achievement.
Napoleon Hill calls this next step organized planning. It is the crystallization of your dreams into tangible action. It is the process by which vague aspirations become clear directives and a wandering mind becomes a focused force. Without planning, even the strongest desires remain mere wishes. With it, the world is yours to mold.
Let's start at the very core, the necessity of planning. Hill insists that every great success begins with a deliberate and detailed plan. Think of Thomas Edison tirelessly working in his lab. He wasn't merely tinkering, he was systematically attacking problems, step by step, experiment by experiment. His journey to the invention of the light bulb wasn't a flash of genius, but a methodical pursuit of a goal.
Edison's brilliance lay not just in his mind, but in his ability to organize his efforts. Each attempt, whether successful or not, brought him closer to his target because it was part of a larger design. His story is a reminder that while ideas may excite us, it's disciplined action that brings them to life. Then there's Henry Ford. Relentless, focused, and determined, Ford demanded the impossible when he instructed his engineers to create the revolutionary V8 engine. They balked. They told him it couldn't be done. But Ford didn't flinch. He didn't back down. He insisted they keep working, refusing to let doubt dictate the outcome.
And here's the lesson. Ford wasn't just dreaming, he was directing. He held firm to his vision and followed it with unwavering action. The result: an engineering triumph that changed the world and proved that persistence combined with organized effort can overcome any obstacle. But Hill doesn't stop at individual effort. He introduces a powerful concept: the mastermind group. Picture this: a circle of trusted allies, a coalition of sharp minds. This isn't just a group of acquaintances. It's a deliberate assembly of thinkers, dreamers, and doers, all working toward a common purpose.
Andrew Carnegie, one of history's greatest industrialists, credited much of his success to his mastermind alliance. Carnegie didn't try to do it all alone. He surrounded himself with experts, people whose skills complemented his own. Together, they became an unstoppable force.
In this collective, ideas are exchanged, plans are refined, and accountability is ensured. Collaboration amplifies creativity, and diverse perspectives reveal solutions that a single mind might miss. It's not just about pooling resources, it's about building momentum through unity.
But even the most brilliant plans and strongest alliances need direction. That's where leadership comes in. Hill defines leadership as the art of transforming plans into action through influence and example. It's about being the person others trust to guide them, someone who inspires confidence and drives the group toward a shared vision.
Leadership is not about command, it's about service. Great leaders like Carnegie and Edison didn't dominate their teams, they motivated them. They didn't just give orders, they fostered environments where ideas flourished and collaboration thrived. True leadership is about lifting others as you climb. And yet, no plan is immune to challenges. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. Hill emphasizes the critical role of persistence in these moments. The ability to push forward when the odds seem stacked against you, to adjust your approach without abandoning your goal, is what separates those who succeed from those who falter.
Persistence doesn't mean stubbornness, it means resilience. It means adapting your plan to meet the demands of reality while staying true to your vision. Think of a river carving through rock. Not with force, but with unyielding consistency. That's the power of persistence. So how do we bring all of this together? First, it begins with clarity. What do you want to achieve? Be specific. Vague desires lead to vague results. Define your goal in precise terms. Then, break it down. What steps are required to reach it? Each step should be actionable and measurable, a clear marker on your journey.
Second, find your allies. Who shares your vision? Who can complement your skills? Seek out mentors, collaborators, and supporters. Build your mastermind group, a network that strengthens your resolve and expands your possibilities. Remember, no one succeeds alone.
Third, lead with purpose. Whether you're leading a team or just yourself, take ownership of your plan. Set the tone with your actions. Show up, stay focused, and inspire others to do the same. Leadership isn't about power, it's about commitment.
Finally, embrace the journey. Plans will change. Obstacles will arise. But every detour, every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Stay persistent. Stay adaptable. Remember, success isn't a straight line, it's a winding path, but every step forward brings you closer to your goal.
So, what's next for you? What plan will you craft? What alliances will you forge? What actions will you take? The blueprint for success isn't a secret. It's here, waiting for you to pick up the pen and start drafting.
Success doesn't favor the dreamer or the thinker. It favors the doer. It's not enough to desire. You must act. It's not enough to plan. You must execute. The road to riches is built on action, persistence, and unyielding resolve. The question is, are you ready to build? What separates those who succeed from those who remain stagnant? It's not luck or talent. It's the ability to decide quickly, decisively, and without looking back. Napoleon Hill calls this the mastery of procrastination, and it's the lifeline of achievement.
Procrastination, that thief of time, the silent assassin of dreams. Hill doesn't mince words. Indecision is the enemy, and he's right. How many of us have lingered too long, overthinking, hesitating, only to find opportunity slipping through our fingers?
Hill begins with a profound truth. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly, if at all. The unsuccessful, they do the exact opposite. This principle, deceptively simple, demands courage, a trait cultivated through practice and resolve.
Hill recounts the story of the American Revolution. Imagine leaders with no clear advantage, no guarantee of success. Yet, they made choices swiftly, decisively, and without hesitation. Their resoluteness inspired an entire nation to rise against overwhelming odds. Decisions like these didn't just shape outcomes, they reshaped history.
And then there's Henry Ford, a man who dared to defy doubt. Critics mocked his idea of creating the Model T, a car for the masses, not just the elite. But Ford didn't waver. He stood by his decision, unshaken by skepticism. The result? A revolution in transportation and a legacy of innovation.
Ford's story isn't just about success, it's about the strength to stay firm when the world doubts you. Imagine if he had hesitated, second-guessed himself, or succumbed to criticism. That hesitation might have killed his vision before it even began.
But let's not ignore the villain of this chapter. Procrastination. Hill calls it the antithesis of decision, a force that derails ambition before it has a chance to take root.
It's sneaky, isn't it? Procrastination feels harmless at first. A small delay here, and a bit of overthinking there, but it snowballs. Hill shares the story of a salesman, a man like any other, except for one key difference: he chose to act. No delays, no excuses. Each day, he committed to a set number of sales calls. His income doubled.
It wasn't luck or extraordinary talent. It was the result of decisive action. Hill reminds us that decisions spark action, and action fuels results.
So what holds us back? Fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of effort. But here's the truth. Fear thrives in indecision. The moment you decide and act, fear begins to lose its grip.
Hill frames decisions as the ignition switch of achievement, waiting for the perfect moment. Forget it. The perfect moment is a myth. It's born from the action itself. The first step clears the fog, revealing the road ahead.
Think of your life as a series of choices. Each one shapes the next. Every great achievement begins with a single decision, bold, clear, and unshakable.
As Hill emphasizes, decisiveness isn't just a habit, it's a lifestyle. Master it, and you master your future. Indecision, on the other hand, it's the slow death of potential.
So take this to heart. When faced with a choice, gather your facts, trust your intuition, and decide. Quickly, firmly. Once the decision is made, commit. And if fear whispers in your ear, drown it out with action.
Because success isn't waiting. The world rewards those who act decisively, who lead with courage, and who refuse to let hesitation hold them back.
The question is, will you decide, or will you wait, letting procrastination tighten its grip?
Remember this, the future belongs to the decisive. It's time to take charge. Decide now. Before you go, remember that the journey to success thrives on shared wisdom. If this video sparked something within you, give it a like. It helps us know we're on the right track.
And don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Subscribe to the channel and stay connected. We're building a space where ambition meets action.
Want more insights? The next chapter is coming soon.
We believe in you. Every decision you make today shapes the person you'll become tomorrow. Thank you for letting us be part of your journey. Stay determined, stay inspired, and know that we're rooting for your success.